Hello, I'm Zach.
Hi, I'm Brett.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Natalie.
Hello, and I'm Shelley Hooper, and I'm doing an informative presentation on triage. I'm a registered nurse. I spent 5 years of my career working in the ER. One of my first days in the ER, one of the experienced nurses, his name was Lane, came to me and told me to look around the room. He said about less than 30% of these patients is actually sick. He said, as your job as the ER nurse is to learn to recognize what sick looks like. And what he said is true, because the Center for Disease Control estimated in 2013 that the United States had 130 million visits to the ER. Of those 130 million visits, only 12 million were admissions to the hospital. And of those 12 million, only 1.5 million were admissions to the intensive care unit. So how do we determine who's truly sick? The history is in the word triage. Triage is a battlefield word. It dates back to the 18th century battlefields, where the physicians would go out onto the field, find the most injured soldiers, and worked furiously to save their lives. This process has evolved over the years, and in the 1800s, they were actually treating the most minorly injured soldiers, getting them patched up in order that they may go back to the battlefield and fight. Today's emergency medicine has taken much of this process and refined it to use as their own. The hospital emergency departments began to implement triage systems in the 1960s as the demand for ER services was outpacing our space, our manpower, and our equipment. So how do we decide who goes first? That process begins with the triage nurse. As you can see, the triage nurse has a large door here saying healthy and a smaller door here saying sick. They are the gatekeepers of the ER. The International Emergency Nursing Journal speaks to the responsibilities of the triage nurse. He or she is going to gather the initial complaint and information from the patient. She is going to take vital signs. The triage nurse is going to do the initial assessment of the patient and determine where it hurts, how long has it hurt. They're going to take vital signs and determine what the severity of the illness is. From this assessment that the ER nurse makes, they're going to use what we call an ESI triage format. ESI stands for Emergency Severity Index. It separates the patient into 5 levels. In the United States, about 50% or greater of the hospital emergency rooms use this form of triage method. We'll just briefly go through it. This is an algorithm that says the same as this. A patient requires immediate life-saving intervention. They're considered a level 1. They go right back. We don't do a history. We don't do any fact-finding. Everything's done at the bedside for that patient. An ES level 2 is a patient is at high risk for a life-threatening situation. They may be able to wait a short time, but they can't wait long. A level 3 is a stable patient that may be able to wait some time, but they're going to need several resources. They may need x-rays, CAT scans, ultrasound. So the number of resources, even though they're a stable patient, they may or may not be admitted to the hospital, but they can wait in the waiting room. A level 4 patient is a patient that typically is only going to require one resource from us. That might be an x-ray, an ultrasound, something that's simple. And a level 5 patient will probably not receive any resources. It may be a toothache. Most often, 4s and 5s are referred back to their primary care or out to a clinic to receive more care outside of the emergency department. So the next time you come into the emergency department and you're told to go into the waiting room and wait, remember, waiting is good. It means you're not going to die. The person you need to feel sorry for is the one who gets rushed into the ER and treated first.